Right, I'm going to open this up and hopefully not kill any of the machines. I think I want to give you guys a sense of what is going on from a PC-based point of view. So for a long time, we've had a lot of people say to us, x86 platform, we need to start reinvesting in the x86 platform with a lot of our OEM vendors, because you take something like an iPad, you take an AirBook. Believe me, I get those questions every day. You know, the thinness, the sleekness of the devices. So I'll take you through some of them. I actually just want to run you from end to end. I think the thing around Windows and the thing around Microsoft is we still want to remain relevant across the board. Everything from a gaming, high-end gaming device, all the way down to a phone. And about 2 to 3 years ago, maybe a little bit longer, 3 to 4 years ago, Microsoft came up with something called our 3-screen strategy. Where what we wanted to do was become relevant across the 3 screens that people had in their lives. So the PC, most people have got a PC in their life, the phone that you have in your pocket, and then interchangeably your TV that you have at home or the web. And you'll see under Windows 8 moving forward just how close things like the user experiences have started to get. But today I want to speak very specifically about the devices themselves. What you will see, and you guys can play with this afterwards, what you will see is everything from high-end desktop replacement devices that we see today, and these things launch literally in the next 10 to 15 days in South Africa. Now this device is meant for somebody who wants to take their entertainment with them, but still wants to be a little bit mobile. It's that heavy. It's got an unbelievable speaker and surround sound system in it. It's got a Harman Kardon speakers in it, unbelievable sound. Very small niche portion of the market, but we're starting to find that it's a growing portion of the market in South Africa, especially among young gamers. Before maybe go there, the all-in-one devices that you see at the bottom, these are typically touch devices, multi-touch devices. It's an all-in-one PC, so the screen and the componentry are all-in-one. This didn't really take off until about 4 to 5 months ago because of cost. A lot of these devices were still very purpose-built devices. A lot of the manufacturers had a lot of problems with cooling, so they couldn't cool the product properly. It got too hot, so they had to build special chassis for them, which made them damn expensive. In February, March next year, that device there will be pretty much as expensive or as cost-effective as what a desktop device is today. And the reason for that is that sorted out the chassis problems. They now use standard componentry, standard hard drives, standard motherboards, standard chipsets in those devices, and it gets around SARS 35% screen tax that they have today. So these devices are going to start taking off massively in the years today. Largest growing PC segment in the years today amongst business and amongst consumer at the end of the day. We started seeing some very, very interesting devices starting to come out, and I'll just pick 1 or 2 of these off the wall here. Was this guy. These are typically what they call reference devices. So these are devices, and while we talk about this is consumerization of IT. This is what people are starting to bring into our building. This is what people are starting to bring in, not maybe not a specific device. But this device is an interesting one. Once again, damn heavy. The reason for that is that the thing that chews the most amount of battery life on a PC is the screen. They've got 2 screens on this device. Okay, very cleverly they've used the touch capability of the device. 8 points of simultaneous touch. You put your 5 fingers down on the device, and you actually get their version or their little application that they get for controlling the device. Even nicer say, if you put both hands down on the device, quite difficult to do when you're holding it, you actually get the keyboard up. Now, it's a bit of a funky thing when you tap on this thing, but the keyboard is actually unbelievably accurate. So this is a reference device. A lot of the OEMs do it to prove a point that they can do it, and they do it for seeding into the future to see what becomes possible. Okay, this device is on sale in the country. You can actually buy this device today. Now, this guy here, one of them in the world, please don't break it. This is an Onkyo. Same thing, Onkyo is very well known for their hi-fi system, but a very similar same concept. Okay, so if you've got a spreadsheet, the spreadsheet would actually go from one side to the other. Very nice for spreadsheets. People have done these spreadsheets. Once again, it's a reference device. It's not something that the guys are going to bring out and produce in their masses, because at the moment the screens are too flimsy to do that. So it's something that they're looking at, they're exploring. We're starting to see a lot of this sort of thing happening in our PC world the way we know today. So that's quite interesting. This device you guys must have all seen. This was really the start of the ultrabook trend and craze. We've been speaking about ultrabooks for a long time. This is the Samsung 9 series. It's a Core i7 machine, it's a top-of-the-range machine. This guy's a 4 gig RAM, and it's got 128 gig solid state drive in it. This guy gets you about 4 to 5 hours battery life, and really was a start. It was a start. We seeded these to a lot of our internal employees, and they absolutely love them. But the reason why we did that is so that our internal employees can start having a discussion with you guys around consumerization of IT. So this is starting to hit the workforce. Now that's great. This is actually great. So it's around about Christmas time. If you guys want to buy me a present, I'll happily accept it. Core i7 4GB device, thinnest notebook on the market today. Okay? Thinner than a MacBook Air by a long shot. 8 hours battery life, standard with Windows 7. Okay? This is a UX21. You're not going to beat this guy today. They're going to start releasing more of these devices. The UX31 is slightly bigger screen. But this is the type of thing that we're starting to see. This is the type of thing that our internal employees are starting to bring internally and say, I want one of these. How do you manage it? So consumerization of IT is real to us. It's not just something we talk about anymore, but that is a phenomenal device. Now, the one thing that we're really bad at talking about as Microsoft are our tablet options. I love you, beautiful stage, are our tablet options. I think we've been bad about talking about them because we've seen iPad, iPod, Android. And the discussion that we're starting to have with people today is very different to the discussions we had with them 4 to 5 months ago. Everyone was telling us about the iPad. Everyone was telling us about Android devices. We had 2 or 3 very simple discussions, and a lot of those discussions were around security and manageability of the device, okay, and productivity. So I cannot tell you, I travel with this guy with me. The question that I get, bar none on an aeroplane, is how did I get Office onto my iPad? Okay? What does that say to me? It says to me that people who have got devices like that are looking to do something different with their devices. And I think Microsoft has a great option in the slates that we offer. And the slates that we offer are really across the range. Everything from atom-based devices today that get very hot, you can use them as heaters in the winter, but they do great things as well. All the way across to devices like these that have actually got Core i5 chipsets in them. Okay? This device is as good as any laptop we have in our organization today from a speed and a feature point of view, and as usable. So we really are starting to see a myriad of devices. The other thing is I love doing it with this device. I love doing it. The recognized device, it doesn't work anymore. But I would do it even if it didn't work. It came from Turkey last week. We're trying to figure out why it's not booting. But we are starting to see some really interesting. This thing runs full Windows 7 on the device itself. You can choose to put C, so a smaller version of the Windows on the device. But we are starting to see a lot of uptake now with people wanting to be productive on things like slate devices. So we've got a fantastic lineup of slate devices. Unfortunately, the one that you don't see here today is the Samsung device that's just been released, the 700T. That is a Core i5 device, 64 gigs with a RAM, 8 hours battery life on it with Windows 7. Okay? And from a form factor point of view, very similar to what you would see with an iPad or an Android type device today. So these things are moving forward exceptionally rapidly as we start looking at what becomes possible. And then there's some phones there that you guys have involved in. I think the point of life, it's nice showing the devices, but the point I'm trying to get across is that consumerization for us, of IT for us, is very much here. It's very much present. It's discussions that we are having every day. Discussions that we have specifically around things like slates that are around security, manageability, one code base. It's phenomenal when we speak to our customers to say, you've got an application today, you want to make it mobile, don't retool or re-architect anything, there it is. This device here has got a TPM chipset in it, a trusted platform module chipset in it, which means you can encrypt the device. So the discussion that I love having with people is if you lose a device and you've got your customer's database on that device, what then? Then the gears start going. A device like that's as good as a paperweight. So we really are starting to move into that world. We talk about Windows 8 very briefly, and then I promise I'll get off the stage. Windows 8, not too much I can say about it at this point in time. Even if you get me to a corner and you beat me, I really don't have the information. There are 2 or 3 things that I do want to say that we're not. So the one thing is touch first interface. Okay, that is the major thing that they focused on, is touch first interface, where we really are starting to look at the consumerization of IT and what consumers are asking us for on slate devices and how easy they are to use. The second thing is around fundamentals. Things like boot time, battery life. Consumers have said to us, when I sit in bed at night and I want to go and surf the internet or do whatever, I don't want to wait 2 minutes for my machine to boot. I want it to be instant on. So those are the types of things that we're looking at. 2 other major announcements that we made around Windows 8. Support for ARM. Okay, so all of these devices that you see here today are Intel-based or AMD-based devices. We are going to support ARM under Windows 8 and system on chip. Okay. Now ARM today consumes about 10 watts worth of power on a normal ARM device, and that's what allows them to get that long battery life. The ARM chipsets that they're working on at the moment, 3.5 watts worth of battery consumption, which means that we're talking about battery life in excess of 20 hours on some of these devices. Okay. So we really are. When you guys, I think it was the time in the corner where they spoke about ecosystem of hardware. This is going to change rapidly in the next 12 to 18 months for us and for the market itself. So it'll be really interesting to watch the space. And with that, I'll say thank you very much and back.